Yo, morning guys. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. It's a psychiatric, self-therapeutic, multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, and obstacles in our lives, as well as a self-improvement process to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions that we have set for ourselves, as well as those around us. If you would like a brief introduction, a brief summary into the Ahn Rho Project, how I break it down into domains of life, sub-series, analogies, and so on and so forth, you can check that out on previous live streams for the past 3.5 years, straight to January 2021 and beyond, for more edited versions, including the live streaming schedule, copyright-free music, and so on and so forth. If you'd like, let's dive into the second segment of today, which is usually the table of contents. Again, two quick things in the table of contents that kind of defaults and allows us to bypass all the processing. Is that one, we're going to do, the main rule is to break all rules so long as we can achieve our objectives. And so this is Solve 5.5 Override System Override version 5.5 stands for the fact that I have roughly about 11 segments across the entire stream and many different components of the Ahn Rho Project. And within these 11 segments and 3 phases of a 15-minute live stream, which won't take too much of your time, the fact is I can rearrange and restructure and do things in any format that I please. So it gives me ultimate sort of freedom to just decide what's important and get that done. Second thing I want to mention is that aside from Solve 5.5 Override, I would also I like to say that oh, you know what? I can't remember what it was. If I can't remember, then it doesn't matter. So let's just move on. Let's just dive right into the content. So you take a look on the screen. There's a lot of stuff to get through. What you see is what you get. On the thumbnail as well as the title, you can see there's a lot of food, a lot of photography, a lot of class 2 items. I call it. These are like depth foods that I receive from people who I have a lot of emotional insecurities with, and so I simply should not be receiving it. But dysfunctional days lead to dysfunctional days. So that's that. We have a lot of gift items basically that I'm receiving from people like that. We have like Popeyes, some Vietnamese cuisine, and things that I gave to them, some cake from like marble chocolate cake. And so that's some back and forth there. And then we have some scanned items, which on the right hand side panel you can see is an example of that Centrum. And so I'm just taking some of the inventory that I have in stock keep downstairs region H, and just we're gonna show that either today or tomorrow morning. But a bunch of scanned documentation on supplements and omega-3 fatty acid oils and stuff like that to clear all that inventory that we are not using. We also have to cover some philosophical stuff, just education-wise, and again, plays a huge role in my life. So let's just dive right into it. I'm going to try and expand some of these things by getting rid of the right-hand panel. Once again, Centrum, you can see it right there. And I'm going to expand this and lower the volume a little bit so that the music kind of cuts off a little bit. So you can see here, again, a lot of Vietnamese cuisine. We're going to get to that in a second. You see some Popeyes. You see the menu of the restaurant, so we're going to showcase that as well. We also have, obviously, this one at the very bottom, the marble cake that I gave maybe a quarter portion to my domestic guardians. Once again, class 2 item. Class 1 and class 4 I bought it myself, gifted to them. And you see at the very bottom philosophical quotes and stuff like that. Again, stoicism played a very big part in my life, and so we're going to touch upon stuff like that. Okay, so let's just begin. We start off with the documentation of the media assets, so segment 4 and 5. This is important. I actually don't have any. Let's sit down here for a second. Region A6 right now. I mean A2. I just want to talk about briefly. It's directed towards the laptop. Since you see there's a live stream right here, right? So I don't have a screenshot today of the voice recordings, but yesterday I had some conversations with me and my domestic guardians, which again I've been able to work through most of this, and they've been able to work through it. So we are improving tremendously, but it's still not up to tabs yet. It's still incredibly uncomfortable when I'm around them. And what I want to say is, most importantly, it's not the conversation that I had with them. We went and ate out. Okay, so we went out. They tried to get me out to Vietnamese cuisine. It's sort of like a makeup call, I remember. It's because she probably felt a little bit bad about doing some of the behaviors that she still hasn't overcome, and that kind of dragged me down, and I was unable to meet my obligations to a lot of people that I cared about, which I believe is my responsibility for not standing my ground. But at the same time, it's clear to me that it's only as dysfunctional as it is and I succumbed to her behavior is basically how that happened too. So it's really on both parties. And so she's trying to make up for it, and I appreciate that, but it's not working out that well right yet, as of yet. But that's that, and the most important thing I want to capture is not actually my interaction with them, but with someone who I do consider family, and that's my brother. And he talked, and he was expanding on his sort of nuances on his kind of business venture. I'm not gonna say what it is, but he has to deal with a lot of people. He has to kind of guide them and lead their way because they don't really know what they're doing in terms of just normal human behavior as adults. Sometimes they're a little bit, as we say, underdeveloped, which is normal for a lot of people. We all have problems. We all have our own weaknesses and faults. But he honestly feels like he has to guide them sometimes. And then I was talking a little bit, expanding a little bit about me and my workplace and me and my guardians and stuff like that. How I feel like sometimes I have to get carried by other people, and at the same time I'm carrying other people within my department. And it's just we were having this conversation, and I mentioned that basically, um, you know, I still feel pretty disgusted that I can't really complain or whine or bitch about this, especially since again we've all got issues. I clearly am being carried by a lot of people through my low self-esteem or my the symptomatology of CPTSD is still here too. I recognize a lot of these kind of like the hypervigilance. It's very negative, very annoying to be constantly around people like me, which are too negative. And so I'm trying to remove that, but I recognize that people have to carry me to an extent so far. And so one thing I wanted to mention is basically that my brother mentioned to me that, point blank and simple, he doesn't see things that way. The things that I mentioned are not as big of an issue as I think they are. And he says, maybe you just have this inferiority complex just based off of what he's hearing. And it's been a recurrent theme. So and I do place a lot of value in his opinion, particularly, but at the same time, recognize that of course, the best judgment is only to be made by me, and so I'll continue working, but I'll keep that in mind that I do have some tendency to look down and be too critical, too harsh on myself, which is something that I've already been well aware of. So that's something I want to highlight. That was an audio recording. So that's the segment 4, as well as this live stream discussing this matter, segment 4 and 5, because it has to do with relationships. Segment 5 is relationships and abstract things that I can't really show you. And segment 4 is to say the media assets, the live streams, the podcasts, the voice recordings, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's move into segment 6. Segment 6, hopefully a little bit more positive now. Just 2 items here: School Life London and Stoic Reflections. Once again, copyright notice, not my stuff. Head over to Instagram, check out Stoic Reflections and School Life. They are, again, very good pages, very good, organizations. So what I want to say here, okay, once again, Stoicism and philosophy played a very big. It's like my father, my figurative father and mother. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act but a habit. Basically, in short, what you do is more important than Now you become what you do. That's what it is. Okay. So again, by Aristotle. But again, every piece of wisdom has its kind of counter, right? So just bear in mind that it's not a universal truth. Okay, on the left hand side, we have so many regrets because we have to make so many big decisions in our lives before we can have anything like adequate knowledge. For example, around who to get married to, where to live, what kind of career path to follow. We're driving blind through no fault at our parties. We should go around exchanging information on our regrets, and then we would feel a lot less lonely. So this is just a little bit of a blurb, an excerpt, trying to provide some sort of suggestion or solution to the emptiness that people may feel as they encounter challenges in their life that even inevitably turn to disappointments and regrets and failures. To be able to just share on this with other people is enough to provide a temporary sort of relief to the isolation. Sometimes you kind of isolate yourself because you're feeling everything's a mess. The best way to do it is stop internalizing it and just get that out in the open and share your problems with other people who have their problems. And in some way, that will make you feel better, and then you have the somewhat courage to continue moving forward. Now I want to say, of course, once again, this is not a very stoic this is not a very disciplined approach. This is the opposite again, but at many times in my life I've of course turned to philosophy, and it's been more that sometimes more understanding and more forgiving, and other times it's been more disciplined and more rigorous and more harsh. So again, both sides are important parts of philosophy and just managing your life. What I want to do now is move over to, okay, so let's start to cover, as I mentioned up here, let's scroll up here to these kinds of photography. I only have about 4.5 minutes left, so you can see everything here. Man, it's a lot of stuff. So let's cover the digital stuff. First of all, this centrum here, so men's centrum, as well as this on the side here. So this is the panel of the nutritional facts and so on and so forth. I would like to do a comparison with John Health Sciences, and just because I'm going to throw away this bottle, which I'm not going to ever use, or give it away to somebody who could use it, maybe the landlord, seniors, I don't know if they can use it. There might be above their age group, but the fact is I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to toss it away. So I decided to take a photograph, a snapshot, a scan, not a photograph, a scan of this, as well as this omega-3. So that's from Centrum Men's. This is Elite Natural Remedies omega-3 wild fish oil. You can see once again, it says like a 180 to 120 ratio in terms of DHA compared to the. Okay, so long story short, again, just trying to get down that nutritional content, so that I can look this up on my laptop when I upload it there, instead once I throw it away, right? So that's basically this entire kind of snapshot right here. You can see the very top. You can also see the cake at the bottom, as well as the nutritional facts. So what I like to do is just pull this up here for a second. Sorry, that's the wrong one. We're going to dive into sort of the cake that I gave away, as well as which you see all these photographs here, right? As well as the dipping sauces from the Popeyes and the Vietnamese cuisine noodles on the bottom. That's called sade. And then we have again the avocado drink, and again the menu of the restaurant that we ate at. So what we're going to do now is just dive right into that. We have only about 2 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left. Let's start off with the cake that I said I had to give away. No, let's start with the stuff that I received. So just to show some appreciation, gratitude. So where did we travel? We went to this Vietnamese cuisine nearby. So here's the menu, right? This kind of stuff: vegetarian noodles, beef noodle soup, rice, vermicelli, and so on and so forth. Spring rolls, all that kind of stuff. So it's called pho ba sa pa. So basically that's in just Cantonese. Basically Vietnamese beef noodles. And you can see us sitting outside on the patio. COVID-19 is out of the lockdown. We're allowed to sit outside, as well as inside indoor dining. Double shots, right? First and second dose. Do you see that jasmine tea, the spoons, the chopsticks, so they have to wash it? Avocado drink that was purchased for about $4.75. So after tax and tips, probably about $6. We have this large sade, so a large bowl of sade, Nam Fan, so basically Vietnamese beef noodles here. And it's spicy. It has very nice texture to it, and this was for $11.75. So after tax, maybe about $14 with tips, right? Again, with the bean sprouts on the top right hand side, as well as the lime and mint leaves. We also have here at the same time, so that's purchased again from my guardians, a gift to me. So just showing appreciation, gratitude, no matter what happens in the past. Always try to be grateful for the things that you do have, and the things that people provide for you, and the thing that just the experience of sitting there with them. This is what the food is symbolic of, right? It's about our interaction less than it is about the items themselves. We have the Popeyes here, so Popeyes chicken, special deal. Trying to treat my brother. So basically, my domestic guardians purchased about 2 deals of 5 wings, so 10 wings, chicken wings, crispy chicken wings. Came with 2 sauces. We have this kind of buttermilk ranch, it seems like, and so you can see that on the right hand side, the barbecue. Plus, we also had this side of fries, which I forgot to document onto the Excel document. And then finally, last but not least, I cut out about 4 slices of this funnel cake here. Coffee. It says farmer's market cake, and decided to give it over to my guardians. So basically, that's that kind of like and I would document that down here. And if this segment 8 here, I forgot to mention over here in inventory, I should add the fries, but I added all the inventory and did all the budgeting. So quickly dive back here to region D4, phase 3 in about 10 seconds. Put the bread downstairs and in here. Oh, well, I don't have enough time. Too bad. I'll do this tomorrow morning or later today. I'll see you tomorrow morning. This is Ahn signing out. Ciao. What an ending, yo. Just kind of stop abruptly in the last like 5 seconds. Yo, that's fucked up.